asteroid field outpost must be destroyed. This will prevent any potential reinforcements as we proceed to their main base on the moon. The target for our secret weapon.
Building suspense there for the secret weapon, which you find out at the end of the game, obviously. So I did a little voice modulation thing to do the voice there. That wasn't like, you know, some amazing voice talent I have, but yeah, it's kind of again trying to sort of be that sort of mix of dramatic excessiveness and sort of also simultaneously poking fun at itself, you know. So I try to be a bit self-aware about how unepic some things are. There's a game called Unepic, but I'm not trying to steal it. Yeah, the name of this game, The Day the Earth Got Mooned, is obviously very silly. Obviously a take on The Day the Earth Stood Still, the science fiction movie, which there are two versions of. Anyway, yeah, it's you can kind of have a hint of what's going on with the secret weapon from the title, but it's not too obvious until the end. It's not literally mooning it, like showing the Earth a bottom, but it's kind of that kind of insult, you know. It always struck me as odd that the you know, the lone fighter destroying everything in its path was always a human ship, because logically it would be a more advanced alien race, a very advanced species that would be able to do that, not humanity. So I made the protagonist a alien, because, you know, everyone likes being the bad guy sometimes, and I thought if anything's going to be able to fight off hordes and hordes of enemies, it's going to be a more advanced civilization, not like some experimental Earth fighter, you know. So all the Earth weapons are things like missiles, and you know, some people interpret those little blue shots as lasers, but they're supposed to be like railgun shots, like magnetically propelled bullets, basically. Yeah. So they have some advanced weapons like the plasma cannons, but all the sort of really cool science fiction-y weapons like graviton beam, neutron blaster, and stuff is all the reserve of the aliens. Now, as you can see, the graviton beam doesn't slow down these asteroids because they're supposed to be like stationary, but it does slow down the fire rate of these asteroid gun turret things. Speaking of which, I should upgrade. Let's get my neutron blaster to maximum level. Can I afford any more? No. Can't afford any more graviton. Now this weapon becomes quite powerful, I think, at this level, and I really like it. It's actually the last weapon I added, but I thought you needed something that would be like a more basic weapon, but would not overheat like the laser, and would just be a bit of a projectile as well. Like, so this is kind of my answer to that. And it's also been called a pea shooter and a pew pew gun by some, so I can see why it seems a bit unpowerful, but I think it's quite powerful for the amount of energy that it costs. Now these asteroids can be quite useful because I don't know if you can see, these missiles are actually hitting the asteroids and damaging them, which allows you to use them to block enemy fire, and also to destroy them so you can gather their pieces for more energy. You can see the more colourful asteroids, sort of saturated reddish ones, have got more energy in their fragments, like 10 per thing rather than 1. So it's worth trying to destroy them preferentially to gather more energy. Speaking of which, let's upgrade the graviton beam to level 2. Now on normal difficulty you're not going to be able to get every single weapon. I don't think so. Probably not. So you do have to sort of specialise. You could buy the minimum upgrade of each level, of each weapon, but that probably wouldn't be a good idea because you'd end up with a lot of things that aren't very powerful. So it's a good idea to specialise. The quick slots just select. You can use the mouse wheel to scroll between weapons, but it's a lot easier to select with the quick slots. Just right click to go between them. It's very very quick to move between them, and you always know what you're switching to, unlike the mouse wheel. So yeah, that reminds me, that was another suggestion made by Luke Quinn. He gave me some. He's an actual game designer, so he had some very useful insights into things to change. You know, this game really wouldn't be the way it is without his input, so I have to thank him especially. Of course, all the playtesters did a great job and gave me some very useful feedback, so, and you can see their names listed in the credits. Also, I have to thank the songstress for providing the tutorial voice, which you didn't hear in this because, well, I don't need to do the tutorial because I made the game, but the tutorial should help anyone who's starting this game out, because although it is a fairly simple shooter, it has some elements that you might not be too familiar with from you know, other games, like the upgrade system and the build menu, so it's worth checking that out. And it's also, Songstress made it quite funny with sort of sarcastic computer voice that she was doing. You know, the sort of tutorial voice is always this like very pleasant computer sort of help voice type thing, and hers is just like kind of sarcastic and disappointed in you constantly, and it's really quite funny. So yeah. Now, I think I just about managed to see. Look at all this energy. I was trying to not pay attention to the thing shooting at me. I lost a fair amount of shield, but I've got quite a bit of energy out of that. Now, yeah, I'm using this graviton-neutron combination. I like this because you can use the graviton beam to slow them down, and then the neutron blast can catch up with them in time. So, and also on maximum level, when you shoot them with the neutron blaster, it sort of creates a blast of extra neutrons, so you can get a sort of chain reaction thing going, or at least just do some extra damage. See, I think that bomber got hit there for a minute. Yeah, the enemy variety isn't too great, but it was difficult to come up with variations on the sort of missile and machine gun concept. You know, I've got these sort of gunships with the rotating turrets and the fighters and the bombers, and they're all just different ways of shooting shit at you. You know, so I could have just done some reskins and done some enemies that were basically the same, but I thought it best to concentrate on making them more different, even if there aren't too many of the types. Yeah, I think I might have sort of backed myself into a corner a bit with trying to make the enemies too, not realistic, but primitive. You know, they are quite primitive. They don't like, they have a direction, they all move in, they have a sort of fighter sort of template. You know, they're either stationary turrets like that, or they're things with an engine on the back that are flying forward and rotating and such. Whereas this alien flying saucer is sort of more inertialess. It can just move constantly in any direction, which is obviously, oh dear, have a great help. Oh, and you need that to not die when you see. Now I'm just going to hide behind this here so it can't shoot me, but then this one can shoot me. Oh no. Yeah. Oh god. I actually forget where the checkpoints are. It might have been good to have some kind of indication of where the checkpoints are, but oh well. Now, as much as there is just this constant onslaught, I hope that the powerful weapons that you're provided will sort of make up for it and allow you to defeat them regardless. Now, the neutron blaster works very well against clusters of enemies because it moves straight through them. So you can see I just destroyed two immediately at the same time there. Yeah, I would like to show some more of the weapons, so I should. I've almost got 3,000 energy, so I should do that. But let me just get through this. I think the graviton and neutron blaster combination is pretty good for this wave. Just a big onslaught of fighters. Yeah, the levels, the sort of level system I have is pretty simple. It's just like basically a timed list of where they appear. So it's a bit tricky to visualize that when designing it, but it's a fairly robust system and it allowed me to make some very simple changes to things like if I wanted to, if it was too intense or not intense enough, I could very quickly change it. So yeah. It was suggested to me that I try to add gamepad support, but that is a bit of a problem with this because of two of the weapons which rely on the position of the mouse cursor to sort of tell you where things should go, the mine deployer and the plasma drone launcher. So I don't know how that would work with a gamepad. I don't think it would be possible, or at least it wouldn't be very intuitive, and it would be kind of clunky. So, and I figure if you're playing on a PC, you're probably used to first-person shooter controls, which is basically what this is. WASD and the mouse. It's yeah, the aiming system I sort of was inspired by the game Walker for the Amiga, which has a kind of oh, here's the second boss, has a kind of mouse aim, and you walk back and forth with the keyboard. And so I thought that was a really good system, and I decided to steal it. So here it is. Now this asteroid base, it will keep regenerating these turrets until well, just forever, until you destroy the central dome here, which has several layers, so you have to keep getting through it and destroying the turrets as they appear, so that they don't overwhelm you. There is a little way you can sort of farm this for infinite energy if you want. As you can see, the front of these things just bounces off when they die. You can collect those for energy, but it's probably a very inefficient way to do it. See, in the original version, before many of the changes, I had it so that firing the weapons would cost energy, and I'm glad I didn't go that way, because I think that would have been a mistake, because in several of the testings, it just discouraged people from trying the heavy weapons. The laser would not cost energy to fire, but the other weapons would, and it kind of, you don't want to discourage the player from using things. So yeah, okay, here we go. Let's gather all these lovely nuggets of energy. I made all the sound effects myself, using various methods, like mostly sort of digitally. Some of the metal sound effects are sort of me playing with a doorknob and things.